The thing about women in general, maybe I'm generalizing, I don't know. But the thing about as women is when we take on the different roles in our life. So you're now. I mean, at that time in my mid 30s, I was a wife, mother of two children, had a busy household, also had a growing career. We had a business going. Stress obviously is part of life these days, but somehow I had this tendency of maybe not enough self-care, and the things that maybe were bothering me, I did not take out time to figure out what they were. And part of it was this whole body dysmorphia, where I'm starting to see the body sort of, I remember being very emotional a couple of times and saying to my husband, like, I don't even remember what I used to look like when I was a young girl, when I was in my teenage, or when I was more proportionate, and inside that would really, really hurt me. But then you feel, am I being vain? Am I being too focused on beauty or shape of the body? And shouldn't I just accept myself the way I am? But you don't really accept yourself the way you are, because you're doing everything right. And I remember having a couple of friends who'd say, you know what, I'm going for a wedding in 2 weeks, and I'm going to do this XYZ diet or whatever, and I know I'm going to lose those kilos. And I'm like, how can you do that in like a couple of weeks? And like, yeah, it always happens, when I need to go for some kind of a special occasion, a couple of weeks before that, I start this diet, whatever the diet may be. But I started, and my inches go down, and I'd go like, my goodness, how do you, like, it was not possible with my body. And now, because now I know that I have lipedema, and I've got in touch with so many women who have this, and that I know that 10% of the women in the world have lipedema at some stage or the other in their life. How many of us are feeling that way? It's mind-boggling that millions, hundreds of millions of us are feeling this feeling of just not being right, and then blaming yourself that there must be something wrong I'm doing, something wrong I'm eating, there must be something why my body doesn't behave like the other 9 women out of 10. Why is it that way? Somewhere close to reaching the age of 40, I sort of remember being about 40 years old, where I had stopped being able to, I just, the clothes that were straight cut started, becoming tight, very tight at the bottom, like awkward at the bottom. It was possible before then, but then it was starting to become awkward. And I have a small shoulder, so the shoulders would fall, but the hip would be tight, and the thighs would be tight. Pants, tiny waist and a big butt. So, you just can't get it right. So pants went out the door. There was no way I could wear pants. By the time I was 40, pants were out. And I had to wear blouses that would cover my behind. I started wearing more of the looser kind of forgiving cuts, and I started noticing that. And luckily I was in India in that time, and the fashion became a little bit of a fit and flare, and that was helpful. But inside I'm like, my goodness, I can't wear things that I want to wear anymore. What if only I knew at that time. I was probably stage 1 at that time. If only I knew that I had lipedema, and this was something that should be recognized, something that my doctor should have known about. Then the doctors would not have just said, you're just heavy in the bottom. That's how your body is. The doctors would not have said, all you have to do is lose 5 kilos. They would not have done that. But if you are at that stage, at an early stage, and you're listening to me, and your story sounds like mine, go and find somebody who can diagnose lipedema, if that's what you have, at least you'll know what's happening, right? At least you'll know what's happening.